What's going on, guys? I'm Lorentz from iWood Cosplay. Today I'm going to show you guys how I made Vash's arm. Okay, so this tutorial is a long time coming. I was really busy, but here it is. So the first thing we do is we're going to start by printing the pattern. Oversized parts will be stitched together along the seam edges like so. So I have 3 different fits for this bicep pattern. I personally like the loose fit just because it fits the proportion of the anime better. And by now, most of you probably know this step already, but if you're new here, welcome! This is how we work with EVA foam. We just cut the pattern, transfer it onto foam like so. The thickness of each part should be labeled in the pattern. If not, that's my fault. Let me know in the comments and I'll fix that. The pattern should have edges where you need to mirror it like so. Everything's pretty straightforward except this part because I've been getting a lot of questions from that. So if you need to know that part, timestamps right here. So for this tutorial, I'll be using my laser machine to cut these parts out. Don't be discouraged, you can definitely do this by hand. We'll start with the shoulder pieces and the bicep parts. The pattern will outline the bevel edges right here. I recommend using a bevel cutter like this one. Link to the STL and or the 3D print down below. For bevel edges that have sharp corners, I like to start at the corner and cut out from there. If you get some jagged edges, don't worry, we can clean it up with some sanding. Also, from now on, for any edges that we will wrap, we'll use a bevel cut. And you're probably asking why. The reason for that is because we're creating more surface area, and that means more surface for the glue to keep in contact, and things are less likely to get undone. Next, we'll attach the shoulder part on top of the bicep. If you want extra security, then follow this step right here. Here I'm using 2mm strip of foam, at least 1 inch wide. Trace an edge on the back of the shoulder pieces like so. We'll then attach the strip along the edge we just made using our contact cement. Apply glue to both edges, let them dry and tack it to a touch, then begin lining up the pieces like so. Cut off the extra length like so. Once you're done, you should have something that looks like this. It's a little janky, but don't judge me. This point is just to create an overhang so the shoulder pieces can securely sit on the bicep. Also, if you don't already own this black Gorilla Tape, do yourself a favor and pick one up in the link down below. This is the most handy and almost necessary thing for this build. So here you see how strong this tape is. I'm not sponsored by them, this is great stuff. So go ahead and grab them down below, or you can pick them up at Home Depot. With position secured with the tape, we'll mark the edges of the overhang like so. Apply contact cement and ta-da, we're done. For this shoulder piece, we'll apply the glue to the 2 seam edges, wait for it to dry, and carefully put them together. If you do everything correctly, you should have something that looks like this. This part will sit on top like so. So apply contact cement to seal the deal. I probably shouldn't say that because that's a little cheesy, but make sure this tip is recessed behind like so. Lower biceps. This part can look a little intimidating, but I'll show you what to do and we can knock this out. These 2 parts we'll cut out with a straight cut, nothing to it. These 2 smaller pieces, I've noticed in the pattern were not labeled correctly. They're red, but they should be the dashed line to indicate a bevel cut. So that's what I'm doing right here. So I apologize for that. So these 2 smaller pieces will cut at an angle like so. Okay, here's both sides cut out. Basically, the bevel edges will connect along this edge. Before we glue the edges together, heat shape the pieces to a curve like so. Apply contact cement and glue the edges together. If you did everything correctly, you should have something that looks like this. Do the same thing to the other side. Now that we have these 2 pieces, all that's left is gluing these 2 pieces together along the seam edges. With all that, you should have something that looks like this. Next is the elbow. It's similar to what we just did. We'll cut the bevel edges right here. The pattern should have which edge is beveled. Once we have all the pieces cut, we'll connect the bevel edges and the straight edge like so. So you know the deal, apply contact cement, let them dry before putting them together. If there's some extra, don't worry about it. You can just snip it off like what I'm doing right here. Similar to the bottom bicep, which we just did, connect the 2 halves and you should have something that looks like this. Okay, let's test the 2 pieces. Begin by putting the bottom bicep first, followed by the elbow. So with that, let's move on to the forearm. So these 2 curved pieces of the brachial should come out like this. The middle strip will be cut using a bevel along the 2 outer edges. Here's the bevel edge. With a styrofoam ball and a heat gun, begin heat shaping the two pieces like so. Here's the difference between the heat shaped piece and the flat piece. The middle strip doesn't need to be heat shaped and will be sandwiched between the two. The only thing different here is creating a step detail by lowering the middle strip like so. Make sure you maintain the curvature as you do this. And there you have it. Do the same thing to the other side. This trim piece will be wrapped up like so. I recommend using duct tape to test fit this piece around your forearm first. Once you're happy with the fit, attach the curved pieces we just made it along any part of the trim like so. So here's the first part of the forearm. It should fit something like this. The next part will be the ulna and the radius. In other words, the two bones that make up the forearms right here. These two pieces will make the radius. They'll be attached in a similar fashion as the brachial. We'll bevel along these edges. Then connect these two pieces like so. Take your time here. If you did everything correctly, you have something that looks like this. Next, let's go to the ulna. I know the pattern's a little confusing, so here's all the pieces you'll need for that part. So these two pieces are straight cut. Let's get them out of the way. And now that we're left with these two center pieces, only one of the edges will be beveled. Don't worry, I didn't mess up here, so this edge is labeled properly on the pattern. Cut out the bevel edges and glue them in a similar fashion as the radius. Curves will connect along these edges. Connect the two halves along this edge and you'll have something that looks like this. And so that ulna piece will sit right here on the forearm. Like I said earlier in this video, do yourself a favor and grab this duct tape down below. Here I'm using this duct tape to test fit the radius. The length will vary, but it should be around the length of the ulna as you see right here. If you did everything correctly, you should have something that looks like this. Alright, and that's it for this arm tutorial. That's a really quick one. I was trying to fit the finger details, the finger tutorial as well, but that made the video super long, so I'm gonna make that into part 2. I already have that filmed, so you guys don't have to wait a whole month for me to put that out. So I'll have 2 videos out this week before I go to Europe. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. And as always, if you like this video, hit that like button, or if you're new here, subscribe. Yeah, I'm gonna get back to the next video. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.